Today we are honouring a very special person. You'll see up here, this is the IKS, that stands for the International Kodai Society. What's interesting about that is in this room, you have a great deal of history around the International Kodai Society. Gilbert Greeve was involved on the board for 28 years. For 28 years. He was president for 12 years. Judy Johnson, who we're celebrating today, was also on the board for 8 years, was the vice president of the program. I'm on the board, was the president as well. So you have a great deal of history about the International Kodai Society here. That award, the Katalin Forrai Award. Katalin Forrai was one of Kodai's disciples. She was one of the immediate chosen 12. And Katalin Forrai was asked to be in charge to gather, to develop all the ideas around early childhood. And that's where so much of the work that we are now involved in early childhood, has come from. So we have a very direct link to Kodai via Koti. And Judy certainly organised Koti to come to Australia on many occasions. 16, that many. Okay. In remembrance or memorial of Koti, Gilbert instituted this international award for a person who was an exceptional global leader in early childhood. That person is Judy Johnson. The mother of what has gone on in Australia. Many of us, I'm sure many of us who are here can put our hands up and say we learned from Judy. Yep. She was the one that showed us how to teach from the beginning. Judy had an astounding career at Clayton College, and she was the one that showed us how Kodai teaching could work in Australia. So Judy, do you want to show us what you've got?
I will.
So this year Judy travelled to Los Angeles, and at the International Kodai Society Symposium, she was given the... Yeah, don't drop it, Judy.
This is the award.
It's 2 owls.
Koti was very fond of owls. She used to feed them.
Small children.
And that's why the award was an owl. But my award was 2 owls.
Is that because you're doubly wise?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Go on. You've got your 1 minute.
Koti Forrai was one of the kindest, gentlest people you could ever meet. But she had a mind like a steel trap when it came to looking after small children. She was not one to stand back and see something that was not right. If she thought young children were not getting the schooling, the help that they needed, she would do something about it, and she always did. She taught many of us here. Australia was not the only place that she went to. She travelled the world, and she would say, you have to listen, you have to experiment, you have to observe other teachers, and you have to teach. You learn more from teaching than you do from reading books. She always said that. And I would like, in my last half minute, to tell you something that I've learned in the last 12 months. See, you never get too old to learn something. I am now living in a retirement village down near Redcliffe with a lot of other old people like me. And in the first month that I was there, the word came through about my receiving this wonderful award. And the first thing that happened was that people kept coming to me and saying, we never had a chance to learn any music. Can you teach us some music? Could we have a music class? And I panicked. The oldest lady in my class is 96. And so we decided we would have this get-together every second Sunday, and we called it Music Fun. And I decided that I would treat them like young secondary students who had never had a chance to learn music. What I discovered was that half of them at least had learned music, had forgotten all they learned, or never understood what they were taught. They will never be great singers. We will not have a cathedral choir. But they try. And if you could see these older people doing hand signs, singing rounds, do you know what their favourite game is? Bow, wow, wow. They are able to hold hands to turn around, so that makes it safe. What I've discovered is that Kodai is not just for little children, not just for junior school children, not just for secondary school children. Can you begin to understand what is happening in the brains of these older people who are having to think, look at music they've never seen before, read from hand signs? They're very good at working out all sorts of clapping activities with crosses, which the psychiatrists tell us is what old people should do. See, so I practice every day. What I'm trying to say to you is that what you are learning is not the beginning or the end of a journey. It's part of a journey, and you'll never know where it's going to. And I am just so grateful that you are all here learning. That's what Cotty said, you have to learn. Thank you.
Gilbert and Judy have been friends for so long that Gilbert has offered to play a small concert in honour of Judy, and I will let Gilbert tell you about that.
Thank you. And when we discussed the program, Dr. Kelly has had great ideas that Judy has always been involved in early music education also, got that award for early music education. Why don't you play all pieces for children? And I said, fine, but that's 70 years ago. So still, I'm going to play for you some very simple pieces, but I chose some of them in function of a certain thing. The first one is from the album for the youth of Robert Schumann. It's called Armes Waisenkind, which means the poor orphan. And it's a little bit of a sad piece, but I've chosen it because for future composers among you, that you can see, or with two tonalities, only A minor and C major, you can write a beautiful piece. I'll play it for you. can see with two tonalities who are related tonalities also, you can write the beer poppies. Okay, then I've chosen two of the, yeah please, hold it till the end, then we say something. I've chosen two children, from the children's and two pieces. The first one is Bitten the Skinned, which means bleeding child. And the second one that will come later is Glückes genoeg, which means happy enough. Two of the well-known children's saints of Robert Schumann. And then Dr. Kuskeli suggested maybe we release. And I said, yeah, it's a good idea. I came to the conclusion I never learned that piece as a child. So I had to learn it now. That's why I'm playing it from the score. thought, of course, Béla Bartók, because Trudy was very involved in Hungary. Béla Bartók wrote for children. And I thought, I'm taking one of the pieces of Béla Bartók, the children game, so the children playing, in fact. If you look at the score, you will see that Bartók is always using the same folk song, the same melody, but always with different harmonies. And that's another good thing that young composers should think of when they write pieces for children, because it creates a certain variation, which is very important. And then as the last one, Judy, a couple of years ago I was asked to write a series of intermediate pieces for the beginning of intermediate level, and I've taken a lullaby, you know, and it says on top, a young mother, you know, rocking her child, and under a starry, I can't read it from here, a starry sky. So a little piece from this series of pieces for intermediate level. So, especially for you.
We have two things to do. Anyone sing me the bar top theme? Do, do, dee, dee, la. Go. Go on. Do, do, dee, dee, la. Then, do, re, mi. You're not going until you can do it. Come on. Don't put it up there, colour. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Go and da da dee dee la la. Da da dee dee la. Sing it here. Do re mi, mi re do ti la la. Do re mi, mi re do ti la la. And of course, the International Condo Society is a voluntary organisation. That award relies on the generosity of people like Professor Gilbert, who gives concerts. If any of you are able to offer $1, $5, $500 to the International Condo Society, that would be fantastic. So we have an agreement from Forrai Australia that the Queensland branch will give some money. So we are hoping that some of you folk here might also be able to give anything you can as a little donation, and we will send the whole lot to Hungary as part of the ongoing work. Will you thank Professor Gilbert, please?